Rapower.
Rapower. Rapower.
Nigeria's original independent radio station.
I think that young professionals should move beyond the comfort of their businesses and take ownership of this country.
They have always had this mindset that their vote does not count.
Are we truly ready?
I feel I can make it.
The political terrain is harsh.
I am determined to give it a try.
I am not discouraged.
I am not deflated.
We the 77, we can make it. The future belongs to us.
We the 77, 5:05 p.m.
Every Monday on Rapower FM.
The promise was that last week. The promise last week be here for a fresh edition this Monday, and here we are set to bring you We the 77. Are you set for that what do I call it now? That gathering? Yeah, it's more of a gathering of young people where we get to have our voices heard, we get to hear our own views, and we just get to share and talk and gist and all of that in a very light-hearted environment. All right, good evening and welcome to the show. I am Oluwatosin, but of course, on this relaxed atmosphere, you simply call me the Prince because I am the Prince on radio, and I have my tag team partners that are here today. Okay, yes, we are here, and like we promised last week, you're going to be part of the show today. We're looking forward to that. You're going to get to talk to us, and we're going to be picking on something very interesting to talk about. I mentioned earlier, I have my team here. Interestingly, or maybe sadly, there's a bit of a substitution this evening, but nonetheless, you're still assured of a great time. Samson Ojeniro is here. Good evening, Samson. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm good.
You were celebrating something earlier. Let me just be the first to help you blow that trumpet. What's going on in your personal space? I know you had, it is a big achievement, we should say.
Oh.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Officially, I'm verified on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
So I got verified last week, and since then, I've been feeling good.
Yes, ordinarily, maybe before now, one could have just said, well, what's the big deal in being verified on Twitter?
Yeah.
But now, talking about innovation, which is what we're going to be talking about a lot more today, and how young people on the social media space are doing a lot of great stuff. Being verified on Twitter then becomes a very big deal.
Yeah, it is. It is because currently, not a lot of people get verified on that platform, and for you to get verified on that platform, you must be notable or be active in something. So I think it's a big thing. It's a big.
I won't ask you what you're active in that got you verified. I would not ask.
Yeah, thank you for not asking.
I will not ask that. Well, like I said, there's a substitution today. She's been under the weather all week, and so we're just possibly just giving her that time out, and hopefully she'll be back again very, very soon. But nonetheless, an able replacement. He does a lot as far as the young and the young at heart are concerned. Possibly, he should be handling this. Larry Wosheni, the radio boss. He is grown now. He's now an old man, but he still does the young world on Saturdays, and of course, you hear him a lot more on various shows. Good evening, radio boss. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Good evening.
From the radio child of maybe 1920 something to being the radio boss. We're glad to have you join this team. It's We the 77. Okay, so that's the team in here. But like I said, you would also have the chance to be a part of the conversation today. What are we doing? By the way, if you have been following us 2 weeks ago when we had the pilot edition, we looked at the youth and leadership. Last week it was more of the youth and attitudinal change, and today it's about the youth and innovations. We're talking about innovative young people who have been doing really great stuff despite how difficult the terrain is here in Nigeria. Now, a foreigner coming into the country needs only to look around to notice the teeming young population that Nigeria has. Nigeria is a very strong country. If we were to define, strength by that adage that says the strength of a man is in his youth. Now, if you want to go by that definition, Nigeria is definitely a youthful country. So, what does one desire of a youthful population, of a population that carries that strength? You're looking at things like innovation, unity, conquest, leadership. These are some of the few things and qualities that you expect to be exemplified by youthful historical leaders. Of course, we have seen the likes of Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Bonaparte, Mozart, Michelangelo. That's just to name a few. But talking about we, the 77 now, do the 77% of Nigerian population who are deemed the youthful truly exemplify the strength of the youth? Are the leaders of tomorrow still waiting for tomorrow, or are they doing something today? Now, these are questions that I just want you to ponder on for a minute. Now, when questioned, many youth decry the absence of an enabling environment that encourages the young people to thrive. I've heard that from a lot of young people. A lot of outcries are based on, things that, can't just be shoved aside. You hear people constantly declining the economy as mentioning that as a problem, unemployment, the brain drain, poor education, I've talked about unemployment, no opportunities, and all that. The problems are so many, but in spite of all these odds, there are still young people who are doing great stuff and who have been able to brave the storm. They've with squared shoulders, and they have attained and are attaining great heights. It is these thriving young people that we want to, focus our conversation on today. We'd also like to hear from you how you as a young person have been able to weather the storms. You may not be there yet, but you're on that journey to success. You're on that journey, climbing that ladder as far as your career is concerned, or maybe your job or your business, whatever it is. We'd like to hear your story this evening as you also share with us. And maybe you are one who is still somewhere you feel like you're at the foot of that ladder. Listening to some of these stories definitely will inspire you to say, you know what, if this person can do it, then I can do it as well. Well, time now to welcome my guys in here. We've talked earlier. Now, I don't think, like I said today, the focus is on the success stories of some of these people, but I don't think we will appreciate these successes well enough if we don't begin first off by maybe highlighting some of the challenges that the Nigerian youth face on the road to success. In terms of maximizing potentials, what are the challenges that the average Nigerian young person has to contend with? Let me start with you, the radio boss.
Well, I think we would start with not being given a chance at all. Not being given a chance at all. Because we have so many people that would probably, love to be where we are today, but because they were not given a chance. And it's not because they cannot do it or because they are not capable, but because those are the threshold of authority wouldn't allow these things to happen. Okay,
I see where you're coming from. That has to do with leadership and political leadership. But I also understand the thought process behind saying, well, the young people are not even given a chance. When you look at the streets, when you go on the streets of any city in Nigeria today, and you see the number of young people who are walking around, had good grades, but there's no job. That still falls in the category of not getting a chance to actually explore and do what they can. Let me come to you, Samson. What are the challenges militating against young people in Nigeria today?
Well, there are a lot of them, like the radio boss said, it starts from the leadership. Okay, now talking about leadership, we have lack of infrastructure. There is, for people that want to go into entrepreneurship, power supply is very, very poor.
That one is a huge one.
There is, let me see, like someone said, I heard on the program someday that Nigerian youth are not employable. I don't. Yeah, you were the anchor of that program. Yeah, someone said Nigeria. So the standard of education too in this country is very, very, very
poor. Are the young people responsible for that standard?
No, It's still the same. It's still the same.
It's still
Imagine just we are still on the ASU store. A youth that is supposed to get educated for 4 years and leave the university and go into is spending 8 years, 6 years in school.
They are lucky.
So
I spent 10. I spent 10. They are lucky.
So that is part of the poor standard of education that we are getting in this country. So there are a lot of challenges here in Nigeria, and kudos to people that have actually navigated through those challenges and came out successful. So,
Okay, we've mentioned two things here. That talking about the guys in the studio, talked about not having the opportunities. I think you did a lot more in terms of infrastructure and all of that not being there. Well, I promised last week and that we're going to give you the chance to be part of the conversation. So you can call 0906-7041. That is 0906-7041 to be part of this conversation. We would want to hear your story, but first off, what are the challenges that are fighting against young people in Nigeria today? Now, a quick one on the issue of power supply. I once was very close to someone who had a very small business where, he had to run on generators for, he was doing a business that required power supply 24, not 24 hours, for the working hours, say from 8 till about 8 or 9 at 9. And then you buys this normal, maybe 3.5 kVA generators, and then you have to spend about 2,000-3,000 naira fueling your generator every day to run your business. Multiply that across 1 month. That's close to 90,000. If we say 3,000 or 2,000, that's about 60,000. How much profit do you possibly want to make when you have already spent 60,000-70,000 naira of whatever it is you're making in your business, powering alone, buying fuel alone? That does not factor in the day you put the generator and it's just blindly refuse to start.
Then you have to make the maintenance.
or you pull it at the rope cut. Thank you.
or the plug problem.
So that we don't just gloss over that issue of the power problem. How much of a challenge is it for us as a country that we haven't been able to solve the power problem? I've heard young people say, just give us power and we'll be fine.
Power supply is a major challenge, but for both small scale businesses and even established companies is a major challenge. Even when you have in some areas that they do get regular power supply, they are complaining of exorbitant charges also from the distribution agency, because I see on social media the other day where someone was saying that it wasn't around for a particular month and they brought the bill 1 million naira bill and it wasn't at home.
Wait, let me shock you. I've lived in one area before. It's not even far from here. For 10 months we didn't have light. Out of those 10 months, about 6 or 7 months of after about 3 or 4 months, they came and removed the transformer. They said they wanted to go and fix it. Do you know that eventually when they brought another transformer, they brought bill, and for the period when there was no transformer, there were figures there. So which meter did they read? Where did they get the figures? Larry, how big a problem is this power situation?
Well, for me, I feel that they say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And I feel that when there is power, it's like a large percentage of the Nigerian youth would actually have something to do. They would actually be productive if they are not on cyberspace trying to better their lives, because right about now we need power to do a lot of things. If your phone is not charged,
it's like you're cut off from the world.
So many things are actually happening these days without with power. Then without power, you have so many negatives happening. The issue of I really don't know what comes to the average Nigerian mind, and of course a youth's mind, to even want to probably do drugs, go into kidnapping or cultism, vices like that. When there is power, you have your phone charged, you'll probably be working on something. Be the next Samson
and get verified.
Be the next Samson and get verified. We're talking about away from power now. also on Twitter, there was this young man, is also an entrepreneur, who actually ventured into logistics. And then he said that the growth, his company's growth has just been cut short by the powers that be. And he gave a thread of what happened. You're starting a logistics company, and he was fortunate enough to have friends and family support his business, you know, bringing in vehicles and motorcycles. And then the agencies that came to the office actually came to seal the office and of course confiscate these vehicles. But because, according to what he said, they said, because he wasn't arguing with them, they let the vehicles be. And then they now charged him. It's just a startup, you know. It's like it's just starting his life. It's just starting this company, and then you brought bill of 2 million naira.
Imagine.
How much profit has he made on the business?
Yeah. The same amount that a big logistics company will be paying. That is what you are giving to a startup. I mean,
so we can even summarize that into government policies, where even for the person who is trying to do something, it's a very difficult terrain. Nigeria has always ranked very poorly on the ease of doing business.
Yeah, it still comes down to the government, because moving away from electricity, there is poor road networks. There's no road. Let me say a distance that is supposed to cost probably 15 naira. Let me say for people that goes to the market. Okay, you can just wake up one day and get to the bus stop
and it's 200 naira.
200 naira. Why? Because there's traffic or the road is bad. So stuff like that. There are so many challenges out there.
Okay, I know that if we want to talk about the challenges, we could be here all night. I mean, we could be here from now till morning, and we would never end with these challenges. But the fact remains that despite these challenges, young Nigerians are doing great stuff. Some of us are getting verified on Twitter. I would not leave you on that matter, Samson. And then, of course, we would get to talk to an equally young person who's been doing great stuff. I would also like to hear your story. But in the meantime, we'll take a very short music break, and we're going way, way, way back to something from Veno Mario Gaye. This is somebody who really believes that Nigeria will survive. And the message here is, you will survive. someone seems to be having ideas regarding this song, and maybe I'm just going to let you do your thing, Larry. Immediately this song started off, someone was saying we should have a remix of this song, and guess who to put on the song? Oga, what is it? Oh yeah, do that your intro again.
I was thinking that we should just have probably a Lil Kes and Zlatan. To make it contemporary.
Give us lines from Zlatan. Huh? What do you think of Zlatan?
Kapai to Mari Chupaku.
Right. So you want to say that Nigeria will survive, then you now start all those your Kapai to Mari Chupaku.
To show that we the 77 we are here.
But don't you think you will not be taken seriously when you want to sing a song as inspirational and serious as this, and then somehow you still squeeze in that Zlatan's chant into it?
Okay, take for instance Lagos Anthem. The original and the remix, there was Kapai to Mari Chupaku. And said, then they talk say money no the Lagos. I mean, it's very simple. It's straightforward. I know that's probably his own trait. I mean, that makes him distinct.
Is it trademark, yeah?
Thank you very much. So having it is like, okay, yeah, Zlatan is here.
There's
and the representative.
And there's Kapai Mama Chupaku. So
we'll join everything together.
While you guys are working on that remix, well, like I said, that's the music of Veno Marioge. The song is Nigeria Go Survive, and by extension what we're saying is that you definitely would also survive. So the numbers to call 09060007041. Once again, that is 09060007041. Maybe we just go to another question. I mentioned it earlier before, we went on that music break. The fact that if we want to talk about the challenges, if we want to talk about the problems, we could go on and on. Talking about things like, statistics that have shown over the years that Lagos, particularly Lagos, of course, the commercial hub, the commercial capital of Nigeria, is the most stressful cities in the world. Yeah. In terms of power supply, Nigeria is probably the second worst in the world. In terms of corruption, in terms of ease of doing business, Nigeria has always ranked very poorly. So the odds are clearly stacked against the young person. But then, if one is going to, rise above these challenges, what are the attributes that a young person must possess if they must succeed in their chosen path?
Well, as far as I'm concerned,
let's welcome this contribution. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from? Oh dear, we lost that caller. Okay, 09060007041. Yeah, Larry, you were.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, among the youth, I mean, there's certain things that we need to do. If we know that we actually want to take that threshold, to become leaders, to become that person that we are expected to be, there are inescapable actions that we need to actually stay off. First and foremost, I think negative habits and involvement in criminal acts would actually be a very good step. Drug abuse. If you check statistics now, we have a large number of the youth involved in one particular drug or the other.
But don't you think when you even mention that, it would follow the pattern of that, which comes first, the egg or the chicken? When somebody would say it's because of the terrain that the young people are getting into these vices.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about that earlier. It's because of the terrain. You mentioned earlier about the idleness. These things are driving people into such vices, or is it the vices that are rendering them unemployable? Is it the vices that so it's a case of which comes first?
Okay, the thing is if you look at it properly, I mean, it's not that every idle mind would actually go into drugs, would actually become criminal minded, would actually take to cultism or all these other vices. It is just self-control. The individual person. Mm-hmm. It's the individual person. Now, it was also written that Nigerian youth must actually recognize that the man who creates power makes an indispensable contribution to the nation's greatness. But the man who questions power makes a contribution just as indispensable, especially when the questioning is disinterested. For it,
you have scattered my head.
William Shakespeare.
I was following you at the beginning.
No, what I'm trying to say is that now we're questioning the fact that youth
things are this way or things are that way. Okay.
Yes, but then let us also take a look at it from how it has been. What exactly are the leaders doing to actually curb this?
Okay, before Larry uses Shakespearean theories
and Abraham Lincoln
to do abracadabras here and scatter our heads, let's now welcome our guest. Okay, he's a young person who, going through his profile, you realize that he's someone who's really doing great stuff. I'm talking about Engineer Saleh Yakmut. He's the MD CEO, Experience Global Vision Limited. Now, it's a renewable energy resource company, producing charcoal briquettes from agricultural waste, from organic fertilizer, efficient stove, and ruminant animal repellents to eliminate farmers and herder clashes in Nigeria. And to a large extent, he's been able to, achieve that. Your story has a bit about someone who's had a very tough background. But first, before we go into questioning, let me just welcome Engineer Saleh Yakmut. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on We the 77.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we started off the conversation this evening looking at the challenges that the young person is facing. And of course, it became an established fact, or it is an established fact that we can go on and on talking about the challenges. So first off, for you as a young person who's been able to weather the storms in Nigeria, what were those attributes that you would say that made it for you?
Thank you very much. Actually, the attributes that actually came before me are challenges in life and reality. So, having seen what was on ground, I thought that to be yourself, you need to be determined to achieve goals. And that determination was one of the key aspirations that actually saw me through then. Thank you.
Okay, determination.
Number one, determination. Okay. Good evening, sir.
Okay, Engineer Saleh, just a minute. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
All right. So apart from the determination to overcome your challenges, there was this self-confidence that achievement is something that has to be earned. So that confidence of trying to be something in life, notwithstanding the challenges, was key. And I believe that those two major factors have been the driving factors. Yes.
All right. From statistics, Engineer Saleh, it says that today you're leading a team of about 81 staffs, and you have been able to, manufacture charcoal briquettes machine sold for between 700,000 to 1.5 million. Let me take you back to how you started. How efficient was it for you? How sustainable was it for you starting off as an entrepreneur and someone who probably has the knowledge and the zeal? How was it for you?
Oh, let me say it was probably a mix of very challenging and tasking situation. But when passion comes into play, and then the fact that you look beyond what family, what government can do for you, and you're trying to find the answer as to what can I do to give back to my family or my country. That was the passion that always drove me. I wasn't a person that was interested in sitting down and waiting for what can come to me. I always believed that hustling and then trying to achieve certain goals, certain targets, it was good. One has failed so many times in the battle, but because there was a goal that needed to be achieved, so I was always looking at the big picture. And whenever there were challenges, like I remember very well then, starting up as a lecturer at the Federal Polytechnic Bauchi then, I was always sharing my salary, my monthly income, into 3. So basically only one part of it went to my family and every other thing. And the remaining third of my salary was spent on my researches and prototyping of my own aspiration. And the aspiration was to see that I was able to foresee Nigeria falling into serious issues of population, fuel crisis, you understand, then climate change as far back as 2006. And that was then when I commenced the researches. But looking back 16 to 17 years back, I would say we have achieved through very hard work, but the main thing is passion. Passion. Don't wait for someone to do it for you or for someone to give you that cake. You just have to go out and try and dig it out for yourself. So when you're an achiever, you would always achieve.
Okay.
And this is just it.
All right.
Engineer Saleh, I'm still going to take you down the memory lane. In 2011, when you developed the G9 efficient stove, what was the thinking behind that innovation? What were you thinking? What brought up the idea?
And did you even think that it would become a success at the time you were starting out?
I never thought of it being a global success or national success. But what I was interested in is that I had an experience and I lost a mom. So having lost my own mom, the passion was now what can be done to prevent other mothers from dying as a result of cardio-related respiratory diseases. So what I was always the picture I was painting was that if the main cause, one of the major causes of that kind of disease was cooking on the 3-stone stove that was very inefficient, then I need to start finding a way to improve the cooking system of the Nigerian woman. And that was what now drove me to begin to research from 2006. That was the 2005-2006. I started trying to improve the cook stove, the one the Nigerian woman was using. And we came out with the G9 efficient stove, which eventually in 2011 was displayed at the exhibition, the International Federation of Inventors and Innovators exhibition. And it eventually won that trophy for West Africa and for Nigeria. And it wasn't about what goals, what trophies were going to come. It was about how do I get it into the Nigerian market. And thank God that today, the blessings of the federal government, the Commission for Refugees, we have put those stoves, over 70,000 units of those stoves have gone into the Nigerian market. Thank you.
Okay, it's quite interesting, sharing from your story and hearing all the things that you are saying. I'll come back to the issue of what inspired, that innovation. We'll come back to that in a minute. But just so you know, you're listening to We the 77 coming to you courtesy Rapower FM, the third installment. It's still a brand new one. From here, it's 19 minutes to 6. We're going all the way to about 10 minutes before the top of the hour. And we have engineer Saleh Yakmut, who is the MD CEO, Experience Global Vision, as our guest this evening. You can also be a part of the conversation. You can call 0906-7041 to share your thoughts on any of the issues that we have raised in the course of our conversation. Now, let me come back to you, Engineer Saleh. You talked about, after losing your mom as a result of, cardio-related respiratory disease, as something that inspired you to strive towards preventing other mothers from suffering the same fate. So if I'm going to summarize that, you went through a painful situation in life, and rather than break down, it inspired you to do something different. How did you handle that process? Because I can imagine there's a young person who is faced with a sort of discouragement at the moment. We're all in different stages of our lives, facing different challenges, facing different problems. But how do you rise above that challenge to say, okay, this time around, this problem is not going to be a problem for me. It's going to be a stepping stone to doing greater stuff.
Yeah. Thank you so much. There is a saying, there's a popular saying in Hausa that that you do not have an orphan. There is no one who is an orphan unless a person that is kind of maybe weak, but I think the actual interpretation would be something like someone that is without ideas, someone that is not innovative, someone that has no initiative. That's the real person that is an orphan. So when I had the challenge, my own mom's issue was a closed chapter. The other mothers that were still living, for others like me, millions of other Nigerians like me, they deserved a chance. And for the fact that I was traumatized, it inspired me to say, okay, there was no way I could turn back the hands of the clock. But I could give my own contribution for other Nigerian mothers and other children like me to have a better chance than just sitting down and doing nothing. And it was that thought of surviving other mothers and preventing other Nigerians. When you have that, your brother and sisters keeping attitude. So you think outside yourself, you think beyond yourself, and you look onto others. Because Nigeria, the over 200 million of us, we form one system. And should we all work towards the progress of each other, that means that we're working collectively towards the progress of Nigeria. So that inspiration, it might have been a bad experience, but it depends on how you look at it. So instead of crying over spilled milk, I thought it was better to create a cow and have brand new milk. Thank you.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Just before we let you go, I wanted to ask this. The G9 efficient stove, which actually won Nigeria's best innovated invention, was sponsored to Poland for an extensive course in renewable energy resource. Would you say, Engineer Saleh, would you say that was your big break as regards this invention and innovation?
In fact, that was not just a big break. That was just like it was like a lifetime reward. That's for something you least expected. It says when you keep doing something, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it as long as it does not go against the constitution or the norms and tradition of your place. That something good will definitely turn out. The sponsorship by the then Goodluck administration of myself to Poland, it was the life changer because I was working on improving the cooking stove for the Nigerian woman. But now I was given an opportunity to get training on how to convert alternative, that's how to convert every agricultural and domestic waste into a value product, which could be fuel, energy, or fertilizer. So the trip to Poland for 4.5 months opened a brand new chapter. But no, this time around, Sally, you're not just doing stoves for the Nigerian woman. This time around, you can even get the Nigerian woman to completely stop worrying about using wood which was dangerous. It was not environmentally friendly. It was not renewable. So definitely not sustainable. And you can now move the Nigerian woman towards using an efficient cooking pot, one, a sustainable, renewable, available, and very affordable source of energy fuel, which burns hotter than the traditional wood. It lasts longer, and it does not smoke, and it is from waste. So this was like a breakthrough.
Okay.
And from that day, going back to Nigeria, I knew that. A white man told me in Poland, Professor Atala, he said, Sally, if you have sugarcane fields in Nigeria and you have rice horse, then you are a multi-billionaire if you use the knowledge I'm giving you. And I told him that, my brother, don't worry about that. Sugarcane fields, rice horse alone, as then Nigeria was producing over 60 million tons of rice horse per annum. So now Nigeria is producing over 95 million tons of rice horse, which only less than 15% is being utilized for energy or fertilizer. But should Nigeria be able to utilize up to 25% of the waste, agricultural waste we are producing per annum, we would be sufficient in energy, alternative sustainable energy.
Okay, Engineer Sally, unfortunately, we are running out of time and we have to, let you go right now. But hopefully we'll, get some other time to chat some more with you about this incredible journey, an incredible story that you have, your success story. So thank you so much for joining us this evening on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Yeah, three takeaways from Engineer Sally's. He said we must be determination, we must have passion for whatever you are doing, and we must be consistent with it. I think I
pick on those three as well: determination, consistency, and of course passion. You have to remain inspired and all that. Yeah. Well, these are definitely ingredients that are necessary for success. Let's get to Tolani, who sends in swingers, also joins the program. Today she's sharing with us on a couple of tips on leadership.
My name is Tolani Adesoya. Youths are said to be the leaders of tomorrow, but a leader needs to be equipped for the leadership role. Let me share some crucial tips that all the youth aspiring to be leaders should take seriously. First is communicator. A great leader must be an adept communicator. He must be a good listener, and when speaking, he must be clear, sincere, and consistent in what and how he communicates. Integrity is key if you aspire to be a leader. A great leader must inspire confidence in his followers by being true to his words. He must be of impeccable character. His actions must match his words and consistent with his values. Next is values. A great leader is watchful of his core values. He does all it takes to hold true to them. His values set the tone and provide behavioral guidelines for followers. Vision is another great factor. A great leader must know where he is going and why he is heading there. He must be a great thinker with the ability to innovate, take a risk, and to conceive a solution or create a new market. To be a great leader, you must have passion. Passion is a never-ending source of energy that fuels a great leader. This attribute helps attract followers and inspire them. Confidence is also necessary for staying the course when things become tough. A great leader must have an abundant level of confidence, but must be watchful, as this can turn into arrogance. Curiosity is as well important. Aside being a good listener, a great leader must be able to ask a lot of questions, because curiosity leads to new ideas. His thirst for curiosity should be insatiable. He must not be egocentric and must be open to learning from different categories of people, from janitors to CEOs, from plumbers to musicians. Positive attitude is also key to be a leader. A great leader is an optimist. He must always find a way to solve a problem or overcome a new challenge. He must also project the type of attitude that would influence his team in a positive way. Competence is another major tip. A great leader must be best at what he does. He must accept his shortcomings and be secure enough to surround himself with people whose strengths complement his own. Empowerment is equally necessary. A great leader doesn't leave people to fend for themselves or throw them under the bus for any reason. He emancipates and sets people up for success. You can be a leader. Aspire to be one today.
Okay, I'm sure you've been able to pick up a thing or two from Tolani there, talking about tips on leadership, and hopefully you've been able to pick up something in the course of our conversation this evening. Well, we have to go now. Larry, your final take?
Well, I still would be banking and, of course, emphasizing on what we've learned today: determination, passion, and consistency. I mean, this should actually be the watchword of every Nigerian youth. And I'm very, very positive, and I strongly believe that we will get there.
I agree with you. But as well, we have to tell our government to please help the youth in those challenges that we mentioned. Someone sent a text about challenges they have on financial problem, financing a project. You don't get a lot of support when you are building something. So in as much as we agree that we need to be consistent, to have passion for whatever thing we are doing, and be determined. Of course, we need help. So let's go with what Engineer Sally said. Definitely we'll get there, and also we also be interviewed on radio to come and tell our stories.
I look forward to hearing your own stories too, but man, that's the wrap this evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been We the 7 to 7. We return next Monday with a fresh episode. Thank you very much, Samson. Thank you, the radio boss Larry, for also making your debut on the show today. I am the Prince on radio, and I'm leaving with something from Timmy Dakolo.
Tell you that I've been to hell, I've seen it all and don't